zone. You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
Punk, you're in the danger zone.
You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
Punk, you're in the danger zone.
You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
Punk, you're in the danger zone.
You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the
You're in the danger zone.
You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone. You're in the danger zone.
Good Sunday evening, Monday evening, I should say. Good Monday evening. Happy Labor Day, everyone. And welcome to a special Labor Day edition of The Danger Zone. I am your host, Ken Moore. I will be joined shortly by my partner, Floyd B. As tonight, we will break down all of the NFL divisions, give you our NFL predictions for each and every division, who will make the playoffs, who will be at home, and who will make the Super Bowl in New Orleans, Louisiana in February. So I hope you all had a great Labor Day weekend, wherever you may be. Obviously, we are here in H-Town where it's been hot, rain, off and on all weekend. But hopefully you guys are ready to rock and roll with us tonight. Got my partner, Floyd B, in the house. What up, my brother? Happy Labor Day, sir.
How's it going, my brother? How's it going, man? I'm getting it together right here, brother. I'm getting it together, man. You know, you got to bear with me, man, you know.
All right.
Yeah, you got to bear with me, man. But look here, I bet you I'm getting it together, though. There we is. Here we is. Live. We are in the house tonight. Thank you, my brother, for making this happen. Let's thank the Almighty. We made it to see another football season.
Yes.
And let's see what it do. Let's see what it do.
Absolutely. And you know, let's take care of the housekeeping duties first and foremost. We definitely want you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share the show out on your social media platforms, and definitely want to get you guys feedback on our predictions here tonight. We're going to go through them kind of quickly. We know it's Labor Day, people wrapping up, having a dinner and whatnot. So we're going to get to it and get out. We're going to start in the NFC. We're going to start in the NFC, my brother. So go ahead and get your NFC predictions ready. We're going to start in the NFC East. See, we already got your boy. We already got your boy in the house with his shenanigans. JB, what's up, brother?
JB, I see you, big. I see you, homie. I see we gonna flood it tonight, homie. We gonna flood it tonight.
Already in the house with his shenanigans. Forrest Brick in the house, baby. Forrest Brick in the house. All right, so we're gonna start in the NFC Eastern Division. Now, this division has not had a repeat champion, I believe, in the last 10 years. The Cowboys obviously won the division last year. They lose Tony Pollard. They bring back Ezekiel Elliott. The Philadelphia Eagles fire both of their coordinators after 1 year, so they have brand new coordinators with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. The Washington Commanders, they bring in the Heisman Trophy winner from LSU, Jayden Daniels. And the New York Giants, they bring in one of the best wide receivers out of college football, also from LSU, and Malik Neighbors. They also bring in Brandon Burns, believe linebacker from the Carolina Panthers. They brought him over in free agency. So without further ado, I'm going to give you my predictions, and then Boss Man will let you react and give yours. Here are my predictions for the NFC East. I got the Eagles winning it at 12-5. I got them bouncing back after a disappointing season, disappointing end of the year last year. I got the Cowboys coming in second. I got them falling back to 10-7. I got the Commanders improving. I believe they only won 3 or 4 games last year. I got them improving to an 8-win team this year. And I got the New York Giants continuing to struggle with Daniel Jones at the helm. I think at some point, probably towards the end of the year, Daniel Jones will probably find himself on the bench. And I think the Giants end up somewhere around 4-13, 5-12. That's what I see for the NFC East. So I got the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Giants. I have the Eagles and the Cowboys both making the playoffs this year, just in reverse order from last year. Your thoughts on the NFC East?
I got the Eagles too. I got the Eagles winning that division. They should. On paper, they are the most talented team in that division. They got some real established coordinators. I think that's what was missing with the Eagles last season. And Nick Sirianni is on the hot seat, and it's a possibility he could be in the danger zone real soon. The only difference I got is that I got the Commanders and the Cowboys both finishing at 9-8. I have them both finishing at 9-8. I think the Commanders, I'm a little suspect of the defense. I think they're going to be able to mold the ball and score the ball. I think they got some pieces over there. I trust Cliff Kingsbury can call some decent plays. He's kind of familiar with the college system that's gradually been implemented in the NFL. The Giants, unfortunately for Brian Daboll, they're gonna be a terrible team, and it's a possibility he may get fired. It remains to be seen, but I think he just don't have enough talent over there. I think they can be competitive in some game, but it all boils down to Daniel Jones, and I don't believe in him. I love Malik Neighbors, guy out of LSU. I think he's the real deal from what I've seen, but we pretty much have the same thing. I just got the Cowboys and the Commanders both finishing 9-8. Actually, the Commanders in front of the Cowboys at 9-8.
Okay, so, all right. Yep, sounds good. Sounds good. I brought up a graphic that we'll go back and forth on. It's going to show the strength of schedule for all the teams in the NFL. So I'm going to show that here now. And basically what this is, I don't know if you can see it. Let me remove the banner there. See if we can help us out a little bit. All right, so on top, you got the Atlanta Falcons in that top left corner.
Yeah.
They have the easiest schedule in the NFL. all the way down to the bottom right, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have the hardest schedule in the NFL. So if you kind of look kind of towards the top in that green, you'll see where the Eagles have like the 8th easiest schedule, right there between the Miami Dolphins and I believe the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
And then Washington is right on that line with the 14th easiest schedule.
With the Jaguars.
Right there with the Jaguars. Cowboys, they have the 22nd easiest schedule. And then the Giants are right there with the 20th. So the Eagles and the Commanders have the easiest 2 schedules in that division. So that's kind of why I'm looking at the Eagles, and yourself as well. We're kind of both in the same boat with having the Eagles win that division. The Cowboys just have a much more difficult schedule. They got that first place schedule, and I think that's going to make things much more difficult for them and for the New York Giants, especially the Giants, since they don't have that good of a football team this year. So we'll reference that back and forth as we go through the divisions here tonight. Coming up next, we'll take a look at the NFC South. I got the Atlanta Falcons. We saw they had the easiest schedule in the NFL. Obviously, they have new head coach. They got Kirk Cousins at the helm at quarterback. Not a big believer in Kirk Cousins, but he does do a nice job in the regular season. He's got a plethora of weapons to work with, and I think they can win that division with about a 10-7 record. Tampa Bay, I think, is highly undervalued. People haven't talked much at all, if any, about Tampa Bay this year. They won the division last year by a game, snuck into the playoffs, won a playoff game. I believe they beat Philadelphia in the first round of the playoffs last year. Still got Baker Mayfield coming back. Still got Todd Bowles coming back as the head coach. Still got Mike Evans on the outside. The defense is always stout. They still need to get a running game down in Tampa, but I think they'll be good enough to finish around 9-8.
I'm gonna take the Falcons to win the division. I think them and the Bucks both going to finish 9-8, somewhere along there, just maybe a game above 500. I think by the time the Falcons catch fire, it'll be down the stretch to roll them over into the playoff. I think the Bucks defense is going to be their weakness this year. They lost a lot of key players off that defense, and it remains to be seen just how much we can get out of Baker Mayfield. My prediction is that Saints coach Dennis Allen will be the first coach to be fired this season. You got them kind of highly on with an 8-9 record. We have to go back to that strength of schedule again just to see just how many of that. I don't see them winning that many. I see them more in 5 or 6 range. And surprisingly, man, I agree with you with the Panthers, but I think this Carolina Panthers didn't have no other way but to go up. They only have only one way to go. I mean, they were a terrible football team last season, so giving them 5 wins is definitely a high improvement, man. I'm rooting for Bryce Young, man. I always want the brother to win, to be successful, man. But we strongly agree. But I just think the Falcons and the Bucks gonna both be around about 9-8.
I got you. Well, I got the Saints. I gave the Saints a few extra wins because they're in that green area. In that top left corner, they got the 5th easiest schedule in the NFL. And plus, they're in one of the weaker divisions in the NFL as well. They're going to get 2 wins against Carolina. They may split with Carolina. They normally split with the Falcons, and they normally split with the Bucks. So I got them going 3-3 within the division just because the Saints, all those teams usually kind of split with each other. And then I got them winning a couple of games outside the division. Derek Carr, he's a middle-of-the-road quarterback, but he is middle of the road. He's not horrible. He's not great. He's probably 15, 16 best quarterback in the NFL. They still have a good defense. They still have Alvin Kamara. They still play in that Superdome. And I think with playing in the NFC, it's going to give them a few more wins than they would normally have, say, if they were playing in the AFC or say if they had a stronger strength of schedule. So that's the reason I got the Saints near 500. I could see them falling down to about 7-10, 6-11 if things really fall off the rails for them this year. But I got them around that 7-10, 8-9 mark for the New Orleans Saints. Carolina, I think they only won 2 or 3 games last year, so I think they will be improved. But again, they have a long way to go with their team, so I just got them around 5 wins this year.
Absolutely, we agree with that. It's just interesting to see how how long will it take the Atlanta Falcons to start gelling offensively, and how much patience they're going to have with Kirk Cousins, even though they just gave him that bag, So that's I'm assuming that they will catch fire and catch hold the latter part of the season. I think it may be a little rough for them coming out the gate. But again, they have the easiest schedule. It is, if I ain't mistaken, was the Atlanta Falcons, right? They had the easiest
they have the easiest schedule. Atlanta's got the easiest schedule, and then New Orleans is 5th.
Yeah, so that alone, can give them the opportunity to stumble coming out of the blocks, But I think talent-wise, nobody in that division has done more in the offseason than the Atlanta Falcons. So,
right.
Yeah, so we both agree
definitely
with
give
that.
a shout-out to Sharp Football, Warren Sharp. That's who website we using here for the strength of schedule, so definitely want to give Warren Sharp a shout-out. He does great work. Follow him on Twitter, man. If y'all don't Warren Sharp, he has a lot of great insights. If you're a gambler or fantasy football or anything like that, man, I would follow that guy on Twitter. He has a lot of really good stuff on his Twitter page. So shout out to Warren Sharp.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out to the brother.
So you got the Falcons, you got the you got the Bucks. 9-8, 8-9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on over to the NFC North, man. Keep this train rolling. Man, I got this one as one of the best divisions in the NFL this year. I got Detroit and Green Bay. Both of those teams made the playoffs last year. Detroit, I think, is still loaded. Green Bay is obviously getting better with Jordan Love. Those young wide receivers are getting better. Mike LaFleur is the head coach. I think that team is really getting better. They picked up a rookie kicker who did a really good job with the Tennessee Titans in preseason. So I think that's definitely going to be an upgrade for them in the kicking game. Move down to Chicago. I think Chicago is going to be greatly improved with Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. They bring in Keelan Allen to go with DJ Moore. I've been watching them on Hard Knocks. Their defense looked vastly improved as well. I think they won 7 games last year. I see them winning a couple of more games. They're just in a tough division with Detroit and Green Bay, man. And that division is always very, very difficult. So I don't think I see them finishing about 9-8, around 500. And Minnesota, obviously they drafted J.J. McCarthy. He got hurt in preseason. So now they got to roll with Sam Darnold, who I really don't believe in as quarterback. You do have Justin Jefferson on the outside. You got a couple of really good receivers on the outside.
Jordan Addison.
They lost Jordan Addison. Thank you. They lost Danielle Hunter to the Texans. So I think that's going to be a big loss on that defensive side of the football. So I have them coming in the rear at 6-11. But I really think it's going to be a dogfight throughout for Detroit and Green Bay. And I think Detroit may get them on a tiebreaker, but I think that division could go either way.
I got the Lions winning the division. I'm not as high on Green Bay as a lot of people are. Again, I saw the last 8 games of the season, and they were remarkable. They were great. But again, I don't see them as a 12-win team. 10-7. I see them catching fire maybe late. The improvement in that division is the Chicago Bears to me. Because again, they won 7 games last year, basically an unorganized team, man. From what we saw as viewers, but they are. I think they did great in the offseason, man. I think the Bears are 8 and 9 win team, man, and I think the Vikings as well, man. I think the system. I think Brian Flores got the defense back respectable again, coming through the Mike Zimmerman days. when he was the head coach of the Vikings and also running that defense. So he's getting the defense more respectable. They got 2 ex-Houston Texans that they signed. Greenlaw was our leading sack guy last year. I think he had 10, 11 sacks. So they brought him in as outside linebacker to go get after the quarterback. So I see the Bears and the Vikings pulling up that rear. But I think I'm with you on this. I think it's going to be the most competitive division football this season. I really do. I'm with you all the way on that, man. I'm just anxious to see these teams play, man, and so we can get a good feeling where we go. But I'm going to go with the way. I'm not high on the Packers as you. I got them as 10-7.
Okay.
But I can ride with everything else you got, man. Give or take a game or two with the Bears or the Vikings, man. But we pretty much on the same page with that. Lions hands down.
Yeah, I think the lines are going to be really tight, man. They got the 21st strength of schedule, toughest strength of schedule. So they got a pretty tough strength of schedule there. I'm trying to find the rest of these guys on this list here. Chicago, they easy strength of schedule. They got the 3rd easiest strength of schedule. Now, unfortunately for them, they're going to lose to the Titans in week 1. That's going to be an L. But I think they'll be all right after that. They're going to lose to Houston as well. So I think they're going to start out slow, but I think they're going to pick it up towards the end of the year once Caleb Williams is able to settle in and get some confidence, get some reps, go through those growing pains after the first month of the season. I think he'll finally get into shape. Minnesota, they're down there at the bottom on strength of schedule, so they got a really tough strength of schedule. And when you have, one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, I think that's going to spell doom for them. They're right there under Tennessee. They got the 28th toughest schedule in the league, the Minnesota Vikings. So I think we both agree that it's going to be a pretty tough year for the Vikings.
Yeah. I mean, if the Vikings can get any type of quarterback play from Sam Darnold, man, I think they could be we could be looking a little bit different at this division. But right now we're going on what we know of Sam Darnold, and he hadn't really showed us too much of anything in his days with the Jets. And I think he went through Carolina and then eventually wind up San Francisco's last season, if I ain't mistaken. So I'm with you on that, man. Again, I just don't. I'm not big on the Packers yet. I'm just not.
Yeah, I got you. And it could slide the other way for the Packers. I think they could end up around 10-7-ish. Just kind of depends, how they approach the season. All right, let's move on over to the NFC West. This was the toughest division for me, man. After I made my list, I went back. After I made my predictions and typed them in, I went back and was like, man, this might be the one I would want to go back and change. But I'm going to leave it as is for now. I got the Niners at 12-5, but I'm concerned because they don't have that big monster at left tackle right now, and he might not be there week 1 against the Jets. And I'm talking about Trent Williams, who's holding out. Obviously, they got Brandon Ayuk back. I think they had some injuries during the preseason, and they're always a team that gets beat up. Kittle and Debo and those guys, they suffer a lot of injuries. But right now, I have them at 12-5. I think the Rams, like most people, are going to be improved. Cooper Kupp is back to 100%. Matt Stafford looks like he's good to go. Now, the thing about Matt Stafford, you don't know how long he's going to stay healthy. It really depends on that offensive line with the Rams because Matt's at that age now when he gets hit in the pocket, he can end up missing a game or two. So you have to look at the backup quarterback for them. So that's why I have the Rams at about 10-7 because I don't trust Matt Stafford to play 17 games. Seattle and Arizona, man, I really didn't know how to go with those teams. I know you were a little high on Arizona when we talked on the phone earlier today. You felt like they may go into Buffalo and get that win in week 1. Seattle, they have a brand new coaching staff. They went from a defensive minded coach in Pete Carroll, who's been there forever. Now they got I think Mike McDonald is their new head coach. I don't really know a whole lot about him, but I think he's more of an offensive-minded guy. You still got Geno Smith, who's kind of an up-and-down quarterback, DK Metcalf, and those guys at receiver. I'm going to lean on this one for you, Big Dog, because I really just kind of threw some darts at the board on this division, man. This one's kind of crazy.
I mean, I still think the 49ers is the better team in the division. But we're gonna switch the Rams and Seattle. I think Seattle gonna finish at 10-7. I like that Mike McDonald is the head coach because I think the defense is what could have been the strength of the Seattle Seahawks last season. But they lost their cornerback early on in the season, Witherspoon, but he came back and he played pretty well. But I think they got a nice front line. I think they drafted the guy out of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Did they draft Murphy? Didn't they draft Murphy? Seattle?
Yeah.
They got him out. So I believe more so. I respect Mike McDonald because I seen what he did with the Baltimore Ravens last year with not really having a premier sack guy on that team. That they was collectively a very, very good defense last season. So I'm expecting that same transition into the Seattle Seahawks. I think they got enough offensive weapons. I think Geno can play well enough to get them at 10-7 and back in the fold of being a wild card team. Again, I will look and see their strength of schedule, but I'm switching them up. I'm picking Seattle at 10-7 and the Rams at 7-10. I think we have seen the best of Cooper Kupp. I think that version of him is gone. I'm not sure on the Rams defense. I'm just not sold on it again. But we looking up here for Seattle, and do you see them on here, big brother? There they go, right there. They right
the Rams right there. You see them? I got the Rams right here in the middle.
Yeah,
at 17. San Francisco right next to them. They 17-18, so they right in the middle of the pack as far as strength of schedule goes.
Yeah. Again,
I think, where you got Seattle at? I'm trying to find them.
Seattle's right between Jacksonville and Arizona.
Oh, okay, they all four together then.
Yeah, they all four right there together.
They all right there together.
The Arizona Cardinals again is a team that and I'm looking at there. I'm trying to find where they at. The Cardinals at. They right there.
They right up at Seattle. They all four together.
Kyler Murray to me, he's good for a few games himself. They played hard last season, man. They got the defense coordinator that came from the Eagles the year they went to the Super Bowl again, and he's the head coach there. So I think he's emphasizing a lot on defense because that's his forte. That's what he does. But he got the best receiver that was in the draft. I think he got him a go-to guy, and I think they'll be able to run up and down the field. The key to this is, can Kyler Murray be coachable, or is he coachable, and can he stay available? So 6 wins, give or take, with Kyler Murray. I like how you have them at the bottom right there. But again, it's the Niners, and again, I pick Seattle at 10-7.
All right, so you got the Rams and the Seahawks flip.
Yeah.
You still got the Niners first place. You got the Cardinals in last. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So for the NFC playoff predictions, so for me, I got Detroit winning the North. I got the Niners winning the West. I got the Eagles winning the East. I got the Falcons winning the South. I got Green Bay kind of co-sharing with Detroit, but I think Detroit may get the tiebreaker there. I got Dallas, Green Bay, Dallas, and the Rams as my wild card teams. How you got it?
I have Seattle as a wild card team, taking the Rams out.
Okay.
And I mean, we can go with Green Bay, and I have the Cowboys not making the playoffs.
Oh, you got the Cowboys out. Okay, so who's your other wild card?
Yeah, they're not. I have Cowboys out. It could be it could be the Bears. It could be it could be any. There's a few other teams that could be battling for that 7th spot in the NFC. But again, I don't see the Cowboys nor the Rams making the playoffs.
Okay, so you got the Bears
Bears in
and
Seattle.
Bears
in
in
Seattle.
Seattle
Yeah.
and Rams and Cowboys
Out.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got the same 4 division winners: Detroit,
Yeah.
San Francisco,
Def-
Philly,
def-
and Atlanta.
Definitely.
Okay, all right. There's a look at your NFC. At your NFC. All right, let's move it on over to the AFC. So we're gonna need you. You got Chicago and Seattle. All
Yeah.
right. I like that. So you got 3 teams out of the North.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to, again, this is fluid. This is fluid. This is fluid. Because I believe I like the Washington. I like the Washington Commanders, man. I really do, Ken. And so it might change from between the Bears and the Commanders sometime during the year. But it's fluid, brother. It's fluid.
It's fluid. All right, cool. All right, let's hop on over to the AFC, man, where we live, man. Let's start in the West. Kansas City going for that 3-peat. Now, the only thing that concerns me about the Chiefs this year, they play every day of the week except Tuesday. They play Wednesday game. They got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. They play every day of the week except Tuesday. So that concerns me because teams like to get into, they creatures of habit and they have routines that they like to do throughout the week and playing all them different days, Thanksgiving and Christmas and this day and that day, for TV, that kind of concerns me. But at the end of the day, with them getting Xavier Worthy, man, I'm not a big Hollywood Brown guy. I don't really think his absence at the beginning of the season is going to be that big of a deal because I don't think he's that good of a player. He's got a better nickname. He's got a better name than he does game, in my opinion, Hollywood Brown. But the rest of that division, man, is completely trash. I mean, that's 6 easy wins for them in the division, in my opinion. The Chargers, Justin Herbert, he's got the plantar fasciitis. You don't know how long that foot is going to hold up for him. The Broncos, they got a rookie quarterback in Bo Nix. Look good in preseason, but hey, preseason is preseason. You can't judge anything off preseason. I think they have one of the worst rosters in the NFL. The Raiders, they got Gardner Minshew at quarterback, new head coach, defensive head coach in Pierce. So it remains to be seen how he's going to do in that role. So I got the Chiefs walking through this division, and I don't have any of these other teams being a challenge whatsoever unless you catch the Chiefs slipping. You might catch them slipping. They go to SoFi, they go to Denver, and they take the foot off the gas a little bit. But I got them going about 14-3, 13-4.
I think this is going to be one of the scrappiest divisions. I think they're going to play tough among each other. I really do. I don't think it's the better division. I don't think it's better than the NFC South. I mean, than the NFC North. I don't think that. But I don't see the Chiefs winning 14 games. I don't see that. You can go 11. Maybe 12ish. Maybe. But again, I'm with you. This is a runaway division, bearing no injuries. I don't see. I do see that all 4 teams in this division, I really think they got good coaching. So I
really?
think. Yeah. I trust Sean Payton.
I don't trust Sean Payton at all.
I trust him now. He got all that asset stuff that he didn't want in there out of there. You know how I feel about him personally. We talking about football, just football right now. But I think he got his guy and Bo Nix. I think their offense will be moving up and down the field. I don't believe in their defense anymore. And I think the Raiders going to have moments when they're scrappy and win some games that they're not supposed to, and they're probably going to lose some games that they're not supposed to. But I do see the Raiders with more than 4 wins. I do see them at the bottom of the division, though. But I'm looking at the Chargers, and I'm just not. I'm not a big fan of that roster right now, man. Joey Bosa out again right now. So I'm just not a big fan of that roster, man. You know, Harbaugh can come in, hurrah, hurrah, hurrah. But again, I just don't think he have enough weapons offense. He's going to run the football true enough. I don't believe in their defense. You know, I think it's going to take Harbaugh a year or two. You may see some improvement at the end of the year. But 7 wins, I'm okay with that. I think the Broncos can give or take a win. So again, I see the Chiefs at 11-6, man. I just can't see. I don't see them 14-3. I don't see it now. I just don't see that now. But all that you have it in, we're okay. But I think the Chiefs are more like 11-win team than they is 14.
Chargers got the second easiest schedule in the NFL. So if Justin Herbert can stay upright and he can play 15 to 17 games, I could see that number going up for the Chargers. I'm basing this on, I think that he's probably going to miss a handful of games this year with that plantar fasciitis, especially if they get off to, if they out of it the second half of the year, they may just shut him down at some point. The Raiders, they got a tough strength of schedule. They down there near the bottom, I think like 23rd. So They got a tough strength of schedule. Denver, let me see if I can find that Bronco logo. Oh, it's right there by the Raiders. So Denver and the Raiders.
Yeah.
They
got tough schedule. They got tough schedule.
They both got tough schedules.
They
got a lot of that because they play in Kansas City.
They have a top 10 tough schedule, man.
Yeah.
So the Chargers, I was looking for the Chargers. I see they got the second easiest schedule behind the Atlanta Falcons. Again, though, it just remains to be seen. Just how they're going to be offensively, man. But again, I just don't believe in. I just don't believe in the roster that they have. Like, they don't have time to do something with this roster, man. I know coaching mean a lot in this game. We talking about, man, but sometimes, man, it's up to a player to go out there and do his job, man. So again, I mean, it remains to be seen with the Chargers, but I don't see them no more than what they got right there. I think you give them a whole lot, but again, you showed me the strength of schedule. You got the second easiest schedule, So I'm assuming that could give them 7 wins, maybe 8 wins, I guess.
Right. Right. Okay. Cool. All right, let's move to the AFC North. We got the Baltimore Ravens. They lose some pieces on defense. They lost Patrick Queen. On the offensive side, they bring in King Henry, which I think is really going to help Lamar Jackson in that running game, take some pressure off of Lamar. They've had a lot of running backs the last 2 years get injured. Every year, their running backs go down with injury. So Derek, outside of 1 year, has been pretty healthy his entire career in Tennessee. So I think he's really going to add a lot to that running game for the Ravens. I think they're still going to be the cream of the crop in that division. And I see them going around 13-4. Cincinnati, I got them coming in second. You always got to worry about Joe Burrow. You got to worry about Jamar Chase now. Is he going to show up for week 1 because he's still holding out, looking for a new contract? You got TJ Hawkinson, who was upset because he didn't get a new deal. They lost Tyler Boyd. T. Higgins was upset because they put the franchise tag on him. So I'm kind of worried about the mood in the locker room for the Bengals, because you have a lot of guys that are kind of in that contract year. And if anybody knows anything about the history of the Cincinnati Bengals, historically, they are the most frugal organization in the NFL, probably next to the Raiders and the Cowboys, because they don't like to pay players. One thing about the Raiders and Cowboys, they have nice facilities for their players, but it's always been a struggle in Cincinnati for them to put money into the franchise. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think the Bengals will come out second in that division around 10-7. I got the Steelers battling But I think they still got some trouble with that offensive line. I don't know about Najee Harris in the backfield. He's always kind of underperformed as a running back. Always have a great defense with TJ Watt, but he's got to stay healthy. He's known to get hurt. So I have them finishing around 8 and 9. And you just don't know with Deshaun Watson, man. You just don't know what you're going to get from the Browns. So I got them, even though they have a terrific roster, I don't know how good they can be at the quarterback position. So I got the Browns coming in around 7 and 10.
Okay. I got the Cleveland Browns winning this division at 12 and 5. I have them winning the division at 12 and 5.
You got to explain that one to me. How?
They got the best roster. And I believe that Deshaun doesn't have to be Houston, Texas Deshaun. He can be, 75% of that player. And I think that's enough to get the Cleveland Browns at the top of this division. They are locked in, brother. They are locked in. This is the season. This is their season. Surprisingly, man, I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers at 10 and 7. Them and the Baltimore Ravens finish at 10 and 7. Them and the Baltimore Ravens finish 10 and 7. And I got the Bengals pulling up the rear, 7 wins, 6 wins, 8 wins. This the Cincinnati Bengals is a team that's in disarray right now. They don't pay players. You never see free agents going there. Joe Burrow. A lot of people put him very high on a pedestal as far as the future of the NFL. I don't necessarily put him there. He's had his moments, but he hasn't been on the field enough. But I don't think that they got it together this year. I think this team is going to be in trouble. They may get hot down the stretch, but it'll be too late for them. But I got Cincinnati bringing up the rear in that division. But the Cleveland Browns clear the best team in that division. And Pittsburgh and Baltimore tying up to be 10 and 7.
Wow, so we're completely different on this one.
Yeah.
Our boy Toto, man. Yeah, man, I got Mike Tomlin. I got this.
Yeah.
I'm a big Russell Wilson fan. I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan. And look, I hate the Steelers, but I will be rooting for the Steelers this year to do well. And look, I hope they make the playoffs. I hope Russ has a good year. Hell, I would be good if he had a good year and the defense was terrible and they lost every game 35-34. I would be happy with that. I just hope he has a good year because I'm tired of people piling on him, man. But that's interesting that you have the Browns. I just can't see the Browns winning this division, man. They have them and the Steelers have the hardest schedules in the league next to New England. And I just have no confidence. Deshaun Watson has showed me nothing. He didn't play the entire preseason. Coming into week 1 already hurt. You got a second-year guy as the backup quarterback. So if he does go down, you don't have I guess they still got Jameis Winston on the roster, I guess. Because I know they were looking to trade him. But I think he may be third string. I have to check their depth chart. I'm not sure if it's either him or DTR out of UCLA, but with them having the toughest, the third toughest schedule, and Pittsburgh having the toughest schedule in the league, I don't know about that one, bro. Your boy JB laughing at you. The Browns winning the division.
Yeah, I know everyone, and mark this day. Mark this day.
Hey, it's on tape.
If the Cleveland Browns, and I'm picking this because I'm saying this is it for Deshaun. This is it. He got one more year left from that contract after this season. He got one. This is it for him. This team is designed to win right now. It's designed to win right now. If you can get, a portion of the Deshaun Watson from H-Town, they win that division hands down. Hands down. The Baltimore Ravens will take a step back this season, and I think they will take a step back defensively. I really do. You know, I think they're gonna be able. They're gonna run the ball. Hey man, I love Derrick Henry in Baltimore. Don't get that twisted. I think I mean, you took the second best back to me. I still thought he was second best back in the league behind McCaffrey. They can say what they want about some of the other guys that run that ball, but I would pick King Henry over any of them, but McCaffrey. You know, and he can still run the ball. You add him to the number one. Wasn't the Baltimore Ravens the number one rushing offense in the NFL last season?
Yes.
And you add a true workhorse, a true 20 or 25 carry a game, he can still do that? Yes. This is the Baltimore Ravens. This is the team that's what they should have had last season. This is what they should have had. More of a power running game. And quit trying to just make this man sit back from the pocket. The man got an MVP and didn't even throw for 4,000 yards. Come on. He got the MVP and didn't throw for 4,000 yards, man. You know, so I believe in the Cleveland Browns. I'm here openly saying it. And I think Mike Tomlin streak will continue. He will be above 500. I see him winning 10 games just on Mike Tomlin alone.
Hey, you got to take big shots, man, because it's always a team, you know, that does something that you don't expect them to do. Yeah. So, I respect it. I respect it. All right. So you got Cleveland in first. You got the Ravens in second.
They got the Ravens in third. They tied at 10-7. Pittsburgh gonna win. Pittsburgh gonna win because they're gonna sweep them in the regular season. Yeah, head to head. Pittsburgh dominates the divisions, except for Cleveland. They beat Baltimore.
The Ravens missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, we ain't got there yet. We
ain't got to the playoff yet. Okay. We ain't got to the playoff yet. I'm not saying they gonna miss the playoff. But I am saying they're not going to win that division. We'll get to the playoff teams in a few minutes, brother. Come on down the line and quit acting like that. Next up is the AFC East. Next up, the AFC East. Thank you, bro.
Let's roll with it. So I got Miami. I think this is the year that the Dolphins tour. He got all that off his chest about Brian Flores in the offseason. Got Tyreek Hill back. He was rated the number one player in the NFL by the players. You got was it Jalen Waddle? You loaded across the board. And I think for Miami to be successful, they realize that they have to win the division. They can't go in as a wild card because they need home field advantage in January. They can't afford to go to some of these cold weather cities and try to win a playoff game. So I think they're going to be all in on winning the division. I don't think they're going to have that horrible finish to the season that they did last year. The Bills and the Jets, look, I don't know what to expect from Aaron Rodgers. They got they got a really weird offensive line. You got some older vets, you got some young guys, so those guys have to come together. They obviously have a really, really, really good defense. They got to figure out the Hassan Reddick situation, because you lost your edge rusher to Philadelphia. You bring in Hassan Reddick, and you don't even give him a contract. And right now, he's still holding out. Doesn't look like he's going to make the trip for week 1 in Brazil against Green Bay. So I think that's going to be a problem for the Jets. They don't go to Brazil in week 1. But anyway, they play San Francisco in week 1. So that's funny. You could have Trent Williams missing for the 49ers, and you could have Hassan Reddick missing for the Jets, obviously. Buffalo, they lost a ton of people on offense. They lost a ton of people on defense. I think they're kind of in a rebuild mode, but I think they still have a lot of talent. The head coach, Sean McDermott, he may be a little bit on the hot seat, but I think they still have enough talent with Josh Allen to be around 9-8, and New England's probably has the worst talent in the NFL.
Well, we agree about the Bills and the Patriots. We agree about that. I think the Buffalo Bills is probably going to be a 6 or 7 win team. I don't think they're going to be very good. They're definitely not making the playoff. I got the Dolphins and the Jets both finishing at 10-7. with Miami getting the nod and finally getting that home field advantage that they need. I'm a little, and the reason why I won't put the Miami a little higher, I'm a little suspect on their defense right now. Chubbs and that boy Phillips, I think they starting. I don't know if they're playing, but they may be starting on the pup list. I know they didn't play none of the preseason. I'll have to look that up to be sure about that. But I got them squeezing it out at 10-7, and with the Dolphins winning the tiebreaker. The Patriots is they're going to be Patriots probably the worst team in the league in the NFL this season. That's including the Carolina Panthers. I think they are the worst team. But the first game of the season is it's a big game, man. And a lot is not on that game because you don't really know about who you're going up against and who's going to be out there. I don't see the Patriots yet. I'm looking for the Patriots on here.
Patriots got the second hardest schedule in the league next to Pittsburgh.
There they go. I see them right there.
Yeah.
So we can imagine how that's going to be. Again, looking for the Buffalo Bills and where their schedule. I see them right there. So they got a top 8 tough schedule in the league. They don't have enough talent now. They might not fight Sean McDermott. They may give him another season, but they won't make the playoffs. But I got the Dolphins and the Jets, and Bills and Patriots. Man, we feel the same way about it. I just think they both gonna be 10-7 though.
All right, good there. And we wrap it up at home. AFC South. This is what I got. When I look at the schedules are important in this division. The schedules are extremely important in this division. And Tennessee and Houston both have really tough schedules, 26 and 27. So they both got tough schedules as far as that. Now, the Titans, the toughness of their schedule largely is weighted because they play the Texans twice, who obviously won the division last year. But the out-of-conference games, out-of-division games are much easier than the Texans. Don't have to play the Ravens, the Texans do. Don't have to play the Chiefs, the Texans do. Don't have to play the Cowboys, the Texans do. So the Titans have the advantage when it comes to that portion of the schedule. I see Tennessee going 9-8. I see a 9-8 football team. I think the team is greatly improved. They won 6 games last year. They won 6 games last year with the worst offensive line in the NFL. They won 6 games last year with a rookie quarterback playing half the time and Ryan Tannehill playing the other half of the time. They won 6 games last year where the only NFL caliber wide receiver on the roster was DeAndre Hopkins. They've improved in all areas. The offensive line has improved drastically. The skill position players have improved drastically. Obviously, you lose Derrick Henry, but you bring in Tony Pollard, who's more of a home run hitter. And on the defensive side of the ball, you've added 2 guys in Snead and a Kouzier on the outside at cornerback, and you've added Ernest Jones a few days ago as your middle linebacker. So I think this team can improve by 3 games. The Texans went 10-7 last year. People think the Texans went 13-4. They didn't go 13-4. They went 10-7 last year. They have a much tougher schedule this year. I think they're still going to be a good team. You can still be a good team and have a worse record depending on your schedule. And then I think the Colts and the Jags, I don't trust Trevor Lawrence at all. Anthony Richardson only played 4 games last year for the Colts. So this is essentially going to be his rookie year if he can stay healthy. I have the Colts and the Jags pulling up the rear at 6-11. The floor is yours. Rip it apart.
Shout out to my boy JB in the house. He was waiting. He stayed all the way up for this edition of the show. to hear this specific team, this specific division in the National Football League. JB, I hear you. Ken, you're a Hall of Fame Texan hater. Quote, unquote, from JB Shao. So, I have the Texans finishing at 12-5, man. And we've been through this. Barring no injury, they're clearly head and shoulder above the best team in this division, man. I have them at 12-5, man. I have the Indianapolis Colts coming in at 9-8. They have the fourth easiest schedule.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You got to explain 12-5 to me.
12-5?
You got to explain that to me.
Tip.
You're improving 2 games over last year.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Explain that to the people.
Yes, I am. We are improving 10 games, 2 games above than what we had last season.
How?
We've added a stud number 1 receiver in Stephon Diggs. Well, if I'm not mistaken, 7 consecutive years of 1,000 seasons. We've added a former number 1 pick of 2 years ago, Kenyon Green, has finally locked down the left guard position. He finally got
it. He was already there.
He was there. Didn't I say former number 1 pick?
No, you said you added it. He was already there.
I said, well, let's just say. Then we add former number 1 pick, Kenyon Green, to the lineup. And he's finally progressing to being a starting left guard in this league. That's
where did he go to school?
Who? He went to A&M. He went to Texas A&M.
That's what I
know where he went to.
That's what
we added a premier pass rusher, Danielle Hunter. We drafted a sure corner from Alabama in the 2nd round to add to a defense. We got help in the secondary by signing former number 1 pick from the Detroit Lions. Pronounce his name for me because I don't want to disrespect him, man. I know you know his name. The former, the cornerback the Lions had and went to Atlanta. Now we got him over there. We got him. So, and we have we're ready. This is our time. This is Texas time, man. This is Texas time. We got a bulldozer in Mixon. We can mix it up.
He won't even be ready for week 1.
We don't need him on week 1. We need him down the stretch. We have adequate backups that can play this position, man. We are the team to beat. This is our division, 12-5. Mark this down. That's why. Okay, the next team will be the Indianapolis Colts. Will finish 9-8. They will finish 9-8. The Colts. I think Anthony Richardson going to learn the system, going to learn to be a little more disciplined. At the latter part of the year, they do have the 3rd or 4th easiest schedule in the league. The Colts do. So I'm thinking Shane Steichen himself, as the head coach, can get some wins out of this team as their quarterback. Where the Colts at? I just seen them up there. There they go. 1, 2, 3. They got the 5th easiest schedule, 6th easiest schedule in the league. And I think the head coach. I trust the head coach enough for those guys to improve to be a 9-8 team. The Titans will finish 3rd in that division. They'll finish 3rd. Pretty much by default. Because that's just how bad I think the Jags are under Doug Peterson. I just think their time has come and go. I think the Titans will finish about 6-11. And they will go through a rebuilding process. You know. You will see what you have with Levis. I don't know if he's the answer, but he's right now that this is learning this everything. Brand new head coach. Again, you got pieces on defense that can hold you up into some games early on, but I don't think you have the offense right now. The players in place, I don't think they've bought into it yet. And game time to see what a new head coach can do at this moment. It's his first time as a head coach. And we're gonna see what he can do with a young quarterback. But again, 6-11 is where I see the Titans at, and 3, 4, 5 games for the Jaguars, man. Just because they're gonna split some of them games with you guys in the coast. They ain't split nothing with the Texans, man. You know. So that's how that's how that division is gonna be. I'm quite sure baby, can you come get the door? I'm quite sure, some of your guys, some of your, guys of the Titan fan club that you follow may be looking at this, may see this somewhere along the line and may ask for me not to be on air no more. Okay, I'm okay with that. But one thing I will do is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to sit here and tell the truth. And that's the way it is. The Titans, the Houston Texans will win the division at 12-5.
All right. So you got the Texans and you got the Browns. All right. Let's look at the playoff predictions. So this is what I got. I got the Chiefs and the Ravens and Miami. I got Tennessee winning the tiebreak over Houston at 9-8. And the wild cards, I got the Bengals, the Texans, and I got the Jets winning the tiebreaker over Buffalo in that AFC East. So what's your playoffs? What's your division winners and your wild cards?
We agree with Kansas City and Miami winning their division. But again, I got Cleveland winning the division, winning the North, and I got the Texans winning the South.
Okay.
I got the Jets as a wild card team. I have Baltimore as a wild card team, and I have Pittsburgh as a wild card team. Yeah.
Okay, you got three out the North.
Yeah.
With no Cincinnati.
No Cincinnati.
No Cincinnati.
No.
Okay. All right. We got them written down.
No Cincinnati, no Buffalo, no Chargers, no Jacksonville. No.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and just to top it off, I'll give you a Super Bowl prediction right now.
Go ahead. Who you got?
The Detroit Lions versus the Houston Texans.
I do like Detroit. I do like Detroit. I don't know who I like in the AFC yet. I don't know who I like in the AFC yet. It's hard to trust the Ravens. It's really hard to trust them in the playoffs. It's hard to go against Kansas City in the playoffs because I think they really motivated to go for that three-peat. I can see the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl. I really, really could see the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl. There's no way on God's green earth that the Texans even get past the divisional round. They've never been past the divisional round. That's just the ceiling. The ceiling is the divisional round for Houston. I think they'll be a wild card team. They very could play Tennessee in that wild card game because I think Tennessee will be that fourth wild card, and Houston may be the first wild card. So they may end up playing each other in that first round. And Houston could beat them in the playoffs. But I definitely don't see Houston getting to past the division round. They're not better than Baltimore. They're not better than Kansas City. I don't think they're better than Miami. So I don't see them getting past either one of those teams in the playoffs. But it's going to be interesting, man. It is definitely going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out. Definitely going to be anything different. JB said, I don't believe it now. I'm dead serious, bro. I'm dead serious. I'm dead. My boy didn't fell off. I think he didn't like what I had to say, and he fell off the map. So we was getting ready about to wrap it up anyway. Maybe his laptop went dead. I'm not sure. But yeah, those are our predictions. If you join the show late, you can go back and rewind it. Rapid fire, NFC, AFC, and those are our playoff predictions for the season. So just to recap what we had in the NFC for myself, I had Detroit, San Francisco, Philly, Atlanta, with Green Bay, Dallas, and the Rams making the playoffs. And in the AFC, I had KC, Baltimore, Miami, Tennessee, with Cincinnati, Houston, and the Jets as the wild cards. I think Floyd had Cleveland and Houston winning the division, with Baltimore and Pittsburgh as wild card teams with the Jets and Cincinnati out. So that is that for tonight. So that's going to wrap it up. We appreciate you guys joining in. We will see you guys probably next Sunday after the first week of the NFL season. Make sure you click that notification bell. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button on the way out. Make sure we'll either be next Sunday or next Monday night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hope you guys had a great Labor Day weekend. We're